Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you all doing?
Good.
So now, the subject concerning leadership is a very significant subject. So I'd like to know from you guys, what's the most important characteristics in a leader? A leader should be in possession of which characteristics, qualities of a leader? Let us start. Let's have the audience contributing. Yeah.
Discipline.
Discipline.
Yes.
Okay, any other trait?
Knowledgeable.
Knowledgeable.
Punctual.
Punctual. Okay. Not very punctual today though. Yes, Mommy?
I guess he needs to see the view of others, about his organization, not only his view.
Okay, excellent, excellent.
Creative.
Creative.
Transparent.
Transparent, accountable. Mr. Debater?
That I wanted to say accountability.
Accountability. Okay, one more?
Flexibility.
Yes, flexibility. Excellent. Have one more. Okay, one more.
Humble.
Humble. Excellent. Okay, so have you ever heard of this person called Brian Tracy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you heard of Brian Tracy? Oh, great. Can anybody tell me who he is?
He is a public speaker,
Correct.
but he's normally speaking on leadership
Yes.
and personal success.
Yes.
He's the author of 21 Ways of Success,
Okay.
Eat That Frog, and so many books. So,
Excellent, excellent. You're right. Absolutely right. So Brian Tracy is a Canadian-American motivational public speaker, and he has authored over 70 books. And he's the founder of Brian Tracy International. It's a company specializing in the training and development of individuals and organizations. So now in his website, he says that there are certain characteristics that a leader needs to have. He mentioned 7 of them. Now I don't want to discuss all 7 of them, that will take a lot of time. So I'll discuss 3 characteristics that a leader must have. So the first characteristic is, and this was a characteristic that was not mentioned, it's called vision. Can anybody explain me the definition of vision? Vision. Yes.
Being able to give a good pass like Iniesta.
Yeah, giving a good pass like Iniesta. Any other definition for vision?
ability to see the end at the beginning.
Yes, absolutely. One more?
Paving the way.
Paving the way. Excellent. Excellent answers. So it's looking long term. Every organization, every company, every politician as well, he must have a vision. A vision is very important. So, Jawaharlal Nehru, how many of you have heard of Jawaharlal Nehru? The former Prime Minister of India. Actually, the first Prime Minister of India. So he says, we live in a wonderful world that is full of beauty, charm and adventure. There is no end to the adventures that we can have if only we seek them with our eyes open. That means do not think that when you have an ambition in life, when you have a goal, don't say that these goals are impossible. These ambitions or these objectives that I have in life, they will not be able to be accomplished. I will not be able to accomplish them. No, you will be able to accomplish them if you maintain that vision, if you carry on, although you will face trials, tribulations, challenges, no doubt. But move forward, carry on, struggle, strive. And how many of you have heard of Ali Banat? You have heard of Ali Banat. Who is Ali Banat in a nutshell?
He was a multi-millionaire and he got cancer, which
Yes.
changed his life.
Okay, so Ali Banat, according to me, had a vision in life. That vision was to make a difference. So he was a young, wealthy businessman, and he was a multi-millionaire, as you said, very rich person. And this person, Ali Banat, was known for living a lavish lifestyle. And Ali Banat, how was he earning all this money? He had an electrical and security company. But then something happened in his life, and it changed his life forever. What happened? He was diagnosed with cancer, and he was at the 4th stage. So there was no chance of survival. And he was told that you have only 7 months to survive. Now he said that I make a vow to myself. He pledged that I will make a difference in society. God has given me a certain time. I have only 7 months to live. And in these 7 months, I will make a change. I will make an impact in society. And he decided to distribute his wealth amongst the poor. He went to different countries like Togo, Burkina Faso and Ghana. Now, you know, they say that when you make a difference, when you help others, automatically your lifespan increases. It's true. Because God increases your life. Whether you believe it or not, people's prayers do help. And this person, instead of living for 7 months, he lived for another 3 years. Not only that, but he opened an organization called Muslims Around the World, MATW, like we have our own organization, Young Creative Leaders. He opened his own organization. It was a charitable organization aimed at providing financial assistance and outreach to the people in need. And then he says that, as you can see, when he was 32, almost at the last stage of his life, he gives his farewell message. He says, as you can see in this life, we had cars, we had watches, and in fact, it is narrated that he would go to different countries and he would take along his watches, his personal belongings, his clothes, and he would distribute them amongst the poor. So when people would say that I need a shirt, or I need a trouser, I need jeans, he said, take it. Why do I need it? And then he says, so in life, work towards a goal. He says that if you want to succeed in life, work towards a goal. And as I'm saying right now, that if you want to be a successful leader, you need to have a vision. You're unable to fund your own project. You are unable to have your own project. So then fund other people's projects. Support others who are making a difference in society. For example, you cannot have your own project. You cannot run, let's say, an NGO. So support NGOs that do make a difference. And then after that, in his farewell message, he states that I thank my Lord, I thank Allah for giving me the time, for giving me a particular period of time that I know I will live for this particular time and I have time to make a difference. That's number one. What is number one? Vision. What is it?
Vision.
Very good. Second trait that you need to have is courage. If you want to be a successful leader, a leader who sees that the society is prospering or your particular organization is prospering, you need to be courageous. Winston Churchill, how many of you know Winston Churchill?
Yeah.
Okay.
Former Prime Minister for UK.
Of UK. Former Prime Minister of UK. He says courage is rightly considered the foremost of the virtues, for upon it all others depend. If you are a courageous leader, that means people can depend on you. Let me give you an example. Can a country survive without a strong military? If the army of the country is weak, can the country survive?
No.
It can't. So the same way, when you are a leader, people depend on you. You have to be a risk taker. Sometimes the risks that you take, they pay off. Sometimes they don't pay off. But when I say risk, I remember one line from the owner of World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE. He's called Vince McMahon. So he says, I am successful. Why? Not because I take risks, but because I take calculated risks.
That's it.
Calculated risks. You take risks in life, but think that is it too risky? Is it worth taking the risk? Some companies, you know, they say we'll invest in this company, we'll invest in that company, and then they eventually go into losses. No. Think rationally, use common sense, and then take that chance, take a risk. And then there was a South African player called Graeme Smith. He used to play cricket. And cricket, obviously you need your arms, whether you want to bat, or you want to bowl. So then he had a broken shoulder, he got injured during the match, and 9 wickets were down. When you say 9 wickets are down, normally in cricket we have 10 wickets. What do I mean by wickets? Normally the batsman is batting, the bowler is bowling. If the ball hits the stumps behind you, that means you are out. Or if the fielder catches you, that means you are out. So 9 wickets are down. And that means the match is over. 10 wickets. Total 10 wickets. 9 wickets. This person is injured. Can he bat? He can't bat. So the Australians started celebrating. He was the South African captain. It was a test match. And astoundingly, Graeme Smith, the South African captain, came out and he said, I will bat. Even though I have a broken shoulder, I will still bat. And they were about to lose. So sometimes you play defensively just so you ensure that you don't lose the match, but you don't win the match, but it's a draw. Better to have a draw. So he says, you know what, I'm going to ensure that my team gets a draw at least. So he defended the balls, he defended it. Eventually he was removed by a wonderful Yorker ball by Mitchell Johnson. But he showed the world that I may have a broken shoulder, but I am not a broken man. So he did not give up. So as a leader, number 2, you have to be courageous. Number 3, the final point that I would like to share The final point is that if you want to be a good leader, you need to have integrity. Okay, what's integrity? Integrity, common word, isn't it?
Very common word.
Very common.
Uh,
I'm not saying.
Okay, so I'll give you a definition from the Cambridge English Dictionary. So integrity is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles that you refuse to change. So you are honest, but you maintain that honesty. You don't change it depending on the circumstances. So APJ Abdul Kalam, he is the former president of India. He was the president from 2002 to 2007. And he was an Indian scientist, the 11th president of India. And he was raised in Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu, and he studied physics and aerospace engineering. So he says, let me define a leader. He says that I will give you the definition of a leader. Imagine how worth this quote is. That the former president of India is saying, I will give you the definition of a leader. Okay. He must have vision. We talked about vision. And passion, and not be afraid of any problem. You will face challenges for sure. There is no escaping difficulties in life. No matter if you are a leader or if you aren't a leader. As long as you are human on earth, you will face challenges. Instead, he should know how to defeat the problems. Yes, there will be a problem. How do you solve that problem? Most importantly, he must work with integrity, honesty, truthfulness. If you are a leader, it is essential and pivotal for you to be honest. Rex Wayne Tillerson, who knows who Rex Wayne Tillerson is? Those in US politics, who understand US politics will know. He's the former Secretary of State. He worked under Trump, but eventually Donald Trump fired him. So he says, integrity is essential and irreplaceable. It is the most valuable asset for a person. He doesn't say money. Normally say, oh, let us understand the worth of someone. How do we understand the worth of someone? Let us see his net worth. How many assets does he possess? How much money does he have? Is he a millionaire or a billionaire? And then we'll understand the worth of a person. He says, no, you want to understand the worth of a person? Do not look at the wealth he has. No, look at the integrity. Integrity is the most valuable asset for a person, a company or a society seeking to build and progress. Today we have young creative leaders. Let's say another organization, Lions Club, let's say. Or the Tanzanian government. It wants to bring a change. It wants to build this country. It wants the country to develop. How can it ensure that the country does develop? Integrity, honesty. So I'll mention 2 stories and I end. So, or are you all tired?
No.
I like stories.
Huh?
I like stories.
Love
Oh, you like stories? Okay. So this is a story, an Islamic story. There was a man called Imam Ali. Anybody heard of Imam Ali? Yes, Nadi?
Imam Ali was a nephew of Muhammad.
Yes. Anybody else? This is a very interesting story. You had something to say? Mu'min? Okay. So he was the 4th Caliph of Islam. He was basically the ruler of the Arabian Peninsula. So Kufa, Medina, Saudi Arabia. At that time there was no Saudi Arabia, but all were under him. So he was the 4th Caliph of Islam. And he is the first Imam of the Shiite faith. So what happened when he was the ruler, when he was the Caliph? This is why integrity is very important. There was a candle burning by the side of Imam Ali. And what was he doing? He was recording all the revenues collected by the government, all the expenses by the government. You know, we think that only organizations have revenues and expenses. No, even government. They look at the amount of finance they have, the amount of funds they have given. Let me ask you all a question. It's a question from economics. A government gives an organization money or a business money. What is it called?
Cost.
Cost. But what is it called? What's the specific term used? That when a government gives an organization money. You all know it. Subsidy. Subsidy. Yeah, or grants. So Imam Ali was recording all the revenues, all the expenses by the government, and there was a candle by his side. Just then there were 2 of his friends, but then later on they betrayed Imam Ali. They were called Talha and Zubair. They were 2 friends of Imam Ali. They came. Now they wanted a position in the government. You know, at times when you see your friend as you see your friend as a leader, even though you know you don't deserve that post, but you go to your friend and you say, you know what, bana, hebu nipe bana sehemu katika kundi lako. Give me a place in your organization. I want to be something. Give me secretary or governor or something. So they were hoping, they aspired and wanted positions of authority. So they came. He extinguished the candle. What does it mean by extinguish the candle?
Turn it off.
Turning on.
Huh?
Just finishing it.
Yeah, so you extinguish the candle. For example, at that time there weren't bulbs or tube lights. So you switch off the light or you switch off the bulb. And then he lit another candle. He extinguished the former candle, one candle, and he lit another candle. So now Talha and Zubair looked at each other, surprised, perplexed. They didn't know what was going on. So they asked Imam Ali, why did you extinguish that particular candle? It was working very well. There wasn't any problem with that candle. Why did you have to lit another candle? You know what he says? He said that particular money is from the government. Okay? That money should solely be used for government work. I had money for the treasury. I was counting the money. Sawa? I was counting the expenses of the government, the cost of the government, etc. That was the work that I was doing. Now you people have come for your own personal work. So I extinguished that candle which was used from the government money. I used my own personal candle which I bought from my money because it is a personal work that you have come for. When you guys leave, when I start my government work again, that's when I will use that candle. Look at the honesty. Don't you think that deserves a clap, a round of applause? You're not clapping for me, by the way. That was a clap for the honesty of Imam Ali. He says that was a candle bought of treasury funds. As long as I worked for the treasury, I used it. Now you have come for some personal work, so I used the candle bought of my personal fund. And if you open the Bible, in the book of Proverbs, chapter 28, verse 6, it says, better is a poor man who works in his integrity than a rich man who is crooked in many ways. It is better to be poor, but you are happy you can sleep at night, rather than being rich, but you know you don't pay proper taxes to the government, you have stolen people's money, etc. Then it is better that you are poor. Say Alhamdulillah, say thank God. We Muslims say Alhamdulillah, praise be to God. When we are asked about our lives, normally people who don't want to disclose their lives, they always say Alhamdulillah, thank God. It's better to be poor rather than being rich, but earning money in unlawful ways, using unlawful means. So I'll end with this story. Or are you guys tired?
No.
Man, we love stories, I told you. What's going on?
Now there was an emperor from China. This emperor, this ruler, this king, whatever you want to call him, he had no kids. So I'm surprised that Chinese doesn't have kids. So he said, I need a successor. I need a heir for my king. You know, normally at that time when you had kings, even today in some countries, there are kings and then their children take over the government after they die. So he said, I need a successor. Now he says, I don't have kids. So he invited thousands of children in that area. He said, all of you come. So they all came. He said, one of you will be my successor. So they were all surprised that, oh, the king will make us the successor. They were very happy. They were very pleased. He said, but you have to do one thing. I will choose a successor, but there is a particular assessment I want you all to do. They said, no problem. They said that it's a project, a year project. It will take you a full year. They said, no problem. So what did he do? He gave them a seed. He gave them a seed and he said, plant trees using this seed. So they were to go to their villages, they were to go to their homes and plant the seed in a pot and tend it for a year. So they went. So when they returned in a year, the king would evaluate all their work, how much, the trees that have grown, the flowers, the shrubs, he would look at them and then he would say, okay, you are the best, or you are the best, or you are the best. So they went home. Now there was a boy called Ling. His name is Ling. But then the king made one statement. He said, use these seeds only. Don't buy seeds from elsewhere. They said, no problem. So there was a boy who received his seed and he returned to his village. And now he told his mom that, I need your help. I'm not that smart, so I need your help. So they found the pot and they put some soil into it and they put the seeds. So they said, you know what, it's going to grow. But astoundingly, There was nothing growing. Nothing growing. There was no sign of life in Ling's pot. No signs of life. And whenever he saw other children, mashallah, trees had already grown. Plants, flowers, shrubs. And he was like, for 1 year, I have also been watering my pot. It's not like I have been lazy. I have tried my level best. But this seed is not growing. There's no life in this seed. And all the children were laughing at him. He became the laughing stock of the community. Now he said, you know, I don't know to go for this presentation. Everyone will laugh at me. The king will be ashamed of me. He might even punish me. So the king said, no, all of you have to come. It's compulsory. So I said, okay, I'll go. He went with this pot. There was no life. Nothing was growing. And the king said, Baba Mekwaje. Of course, he was Chinese. I don't know how to say that in Chinese. So he said something in Chinese, and he said, you know what? I don't know what happened. I used the seeds that you gave me, but nothing is growing. There's no life. He said, okay. He looked at other children's work. He said, congratulations, all of you, well done. Now he went back on his throne, and he said, now I will announce my successor. But before that, I want to call someone on stage. I don't know if it was a stage or it was somewhere. So I said, I want to call someone to come forward. So he said, Ling, come forward. Now Ling was ashamed. He said, oh, this person, this king, he is ashamed of me. He's going to make fun of me and everyone is going to laugh. So he said, okay. So he was called, Ling was called, and Ling came, the king of China. He said, show them all your pot. He showed them, there is nothing in that pot. So everyone started laughing. People started laughing, they started making jokes, they started mocking Ling. And he said, you know, I watered the pot every day, but nothing grew. So after a while, the emperor started explaining. He said, you know what? He said that a year ago, I gave you all a seed. I told you to go away, plant the seed and return with your pot. Sawa? That's understandable?
Yeah.
All of you are with me?
Yeah.
But, now here comes the twist. The seeds that I gave you were all boiled until they were no longer viable and wouldn't grow. So he said, I'm surprised, where did you all get the seeds from? Because plants are not supposed to grow. I'm not supposed to be seeing trees right now. I'm not supposed to be seeing flowers or shrubs right now. Ling is the only one who used the seeds I gave him. And then he says, integrity and courage are more important values for leadership than proud display. So Ling here will be my heir, and Ling eventually he became the successor of this king. But what do we learn from this story? Let us have everyone contributing here. We start with you, Muhammad. What do we learn?
Like, do things the way it's supposed to be done. Don't do things just because certain people show you a certain way. Like, oh, look at my flowers. Don't be like, why do they have flowers? I don't. And like, I should do like them.
Yes.
No, because you got given a certain task to do a certain way. Keep going that way, no matter what you feel. It might be the right way of doing it.
Absolutely.
You don't know it.
Yes.
As long as you know that what you're doing is right and you're following the vision like you can call it the vision. He had the vision that he have to plant this seed. So as long as you have a vision, you know that you are doing the right thing. Don't look at the progress. At the end there will be a result. You may not see it, but there is a result.
Yes.
And this is what happened with me.
Excellent.
For me, I have learned 3 things according to that young boy. Accountability, honest, and truthful. Because the way he struggled to take care of that seed, and even to reach the time he fed up, was like, no, this one it can't be. I can't be a successor. So he gave up, but he was courageous and was like, no, let me just take, no matter what they are going to laugh at me or whatever. So that thing it has encouraged me a lot. So he was a very good boy.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I need to be honest.
To be honest. Excellent. Honesty is the best policy.
Exactly.
Anybody else? Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, okay, one more. We have one more.
I think Kiswahili.
Idio.
Nadhani kwa mwaminifu
inabidi uwe kwanza mtiifu, alafu then utakuwa nini? Mwaminifu. Kwa hiyo lazima katika tunavyoishi yani kwanza tuwe watii katika kila jambo. Alafu after that tunaweza kuwa waaminifu. Ukiwa mwaminifu, mtu atakupenda. Mtu yani atakuthamini hata ukiwa mbali, hata watoto wake anaweza kaacha, lakini wewe kwa ajili ulikuwa mwaminifu katika sehemu fulani, inaweza ukapata success kwa sababu ya hiyo.
Asante. Yes.
The lesson that I get from the stories that you have given us is that in every exam that you have, first question is follow the instructions.
I agree. That's a very good statement. Yes. Final word.
Do what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
All right.
Asante.